dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yo, what's good, original crew? It's your boy DJ New Kid, your girl.
Sierra Nicole.
Back on the channel, man.
Sorry, y'all.
We got a Sunny V2. We ain't did Sunny in a minute, too, huh?
It ain't been that long.
It's been like a couple weeks, man. But we got Hollywood won't cast these 7 actors anymore. Why? But I want to know the 7 actors he got. You know what I'm saying? Like, for these 7 to stick out to you. There's a lot of actors out here we see that they won't cast. We don't know why. Or do we? You know, sometimes you know the rumors sometimes do be true. With that being said, make sure you check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
You already know where to go, man. You want to first support, all you have to do is check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's video,
liking it with a thumbs up.
Let's get into this Sunny video, man. Maybe we can learn something. Maybe it can teach us a thing or two. Let's go.
We're going to talk about 7 actors who are no longer cast by Hollywood, beginning with
Toby. Okay. That's actually a good list. He used to always be in shit. He really wasn't. She was.
Yeah, she was.
Outside of what's called, was he ever in anything outside of Twilight? Like anything big, I think Twilight was his peak, right? And then him, we all know, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. He really wasn't in the after since, you know?
Yeah. So,
Spider-Man was his plateau. Like, you got up there. What else could you do bigger than Spider-Man, though? You know what I'm saying? Jim, I think Jim probably just took he was already big.
We're going to talk about 7 actors who are no longer cast by Hollywood, beginning with Seann William Scott, whose performance as Stifler in American Pie was so iconic that it actually hindered him from landing future roles. Sean stated in a 2010 interview, "I had so much fun and loved the character, but I don't want to be known as that character forever. Now I'm realizing that I probably will be known as that character forever," also adding in a Conan O'Brien interview that Stifler's basically all he's seen as when fans meet him in real life.
Do people think you're Stifler? Do you have situations where people think that I'm my guy? Yeah. They think that I'm Stifler.
This made it difficult for Sean to land any role where he wasn't playing a douchey frat boy, although this wasn't so much of an issue at the start.
Did he play Dudes, Where's My Car? Ain't this him?
You be asking, I was like, y'all, I promise I don't remember a thing. I just know that he...
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, I just know he...
Him and Ashton, yeah.
I just know he was in American Pie. I don't know nothing else.
You never watched Dudes, Where's My Car?
I don't know.
Bruh, no way you did watch Dudes,
I didn't
Where's
say
My
that I
Car?
didn't watch it. I just don't remember.
If you watch American Pie,
I don't remember a lot.
And you haven't watched Dudes, Where's My Car, you should. It's kind of the same kind of
And
energy.
I watch a lot of stuff, and I don't be knowing the titles and stuff.
But it's the same energy, though.
Okay.
If you ain't checked it out, check it out.
It starred in films such as Dude, Where's My Car, The Dukes of Hazzard, as well as Role Models, finding success in each film with the American Pie persona. However, these types of raunchy teen comedies aren't all that common anymore, and with Seann William Scott approaching his 50th birthday, it's not difficult to see why he no longer has the same utility as he used to. Between 2019 and 2022, Sean didn't appear in a single production, yet he would return in a TV series called Welcome to Flatch, in which Sean still looks exactly like Stifler over 23 years later. Although Seann William Scott isn't the...
And that might be the problem, because he hasn't really aged.
Like, yeah, so he's still...
Grow your facial hair out and go into more of a serious role. But I think he still would look like Stifler, though.
Yeah, he
just
looks...
a grown... He still looks himself.
He looks like... I don't know how old he was then, but he still looks like that age. Yeah. That's a good thing.
That's a good thing, but also, career-wise,
it's like
bad thing. I think all of these gonna get tight cast. Cause even that girl, is that Carmen Electra? The girl.
Don't ask me another thing tonight. Please don't.
But all of them get typecast
remember.
because I will have to see how she looks now because she always played like this sexy role. They ain't calling her.
No. I know her face, but I cannot think of her name.
Only actor with this problem, as Christopher Mintz-Plasse has been unable to escape the legendary name McLovin ever since starring in Superbad. The movie was literally Chris's very first acting role, being cast for his unique nerdy appearance, which when plastered on a certain iconic fake ID, made him recognizable to everybody. It stated in a Vanity Fair interview, "The day after it came out I was a nobody, 18 years old. I'd never done anything in my life. And then the next day I go to a Habit restaurant, and then someone across the way goes McLovin in front of like 40 people. Then I was like, oh, something is changing in the atmosphere here," leading to concerns from fellow Superbad co-star Emma Stone, who stated, "Is Chris Mintz-Plasse going to be called McLovin for the rest of his life?" Chris had found himself with the same curse as Sean William Scott, which is interesting as the two would star alongside each other only 1 year after Superbad, where Chris played a character very similar to McLovin. More than half of his 5 most recent films have been voice acting roles, possibly done so he could disassociate from McLovin, yet on the trailer for his most recent film called Honor Roll, one of the top comments is still, "You know you're getting old when McLovin from Superbad now plays guidance counselor roles in teen movies." Despite being unable to escape the curse of McLovin, Christopher Mintz-Plasse has managed to find success in the music industry with his band called Main Man. When asked during an interview, "Do you ever feel pulled toward acting or music more than the other?" Chris responded by stating, "I would love to keep balancing the two. I think I'm very lucky and grateful for where I am right now that I can do both. Acting, you can work for 3 months and not work for 6 months. So in that time, I love the momentum of music and everything that's going on. The momentum right now is very musical. I kind of just go with the flow, and it seems as though Jim Carrey has taken on."
He is kind of like that, that McLovin role. It was just too iconic. Especially, you know how people always say, don't make your don't make your first song your biggest hit because you can never follow up.
But that's the thing, though. It's like I'm just like putting it out there, like you don't know where it's gonna go.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
But that movie was made. I'm gonna say this: the reason why that movie was so good, the timing, it was everything.
It was everything, but at the same time, you don't think that of all the roles, your role
and it's your first role.
And it's your first role. Like you just going in like, okay, I got an opportunity now. I got my foot in the door.
It's so bad that you gonna always see his face with the fake ass. Bro,
yes.
And then they put that on a shirt everywhere.
Everything. Yeah.
And so it's like I cannot escape that role.
No matter
he
what.
He would never escape. Stifler will be able to escape before he will.
Yeah,
because he even trying to grow the facial hair, and people still like, oh, look, McLovin. He would never outgrow that role. Dang, that's crazy.
A similar attitude. In the early days, Jim Carrey had a never-ending list of cult classic films. The Grinch, The Mask, The Truman Show, Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, even Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind was amazing. However, when was the last time you heard any hype around a Jim Carrey movie after maybe the second Dumb and Dumber almost 10 years ago? There's a good reason for this. Between 2016 and 2020, Jim Carrey took a 4-year hiatus from acting, which seemed to have been catalyzed by the death of his ex-girlfriend in late 2015. The tragedy not only resulted in grief, but Jim Carrey also had to spend the entirety of 2017 embroiled in various lawsuits related to her passing. He was dismissed of any legal wrongdoing in early 2018, yet only 6 months later in a Hollywood Reporter interview, it was explained that Jim Carrey was an actor who had effectively renounced his own celebrity after stating, "I just didn't want to be in the business anymore. I didn't like what was happening, the corporations taking over and all that. And maybe it's because I felt pulled toward a different type of creative outlet." Jim Carrey instead began to focus on painting, and while he would return to acting for a brief period in 2020, he'd go on to state this in April 2022.
Well, I'm retiring, but I really liked my quiet life, and I really love putting paint on canvas. And this is something you might never hear another celebrity say as long as time exists. I have enough. I've done enough. I am enough.
He added that Sonic the Hedgehog 2 would be his final movie, and apart from a small appearance in the Weeknd's Out of Time music video, Jim Carrey has stayed true to his retirement. But whatever happened...
That is true, though. Think about it. Jim Carrey's impact's been since, what, the 80s? With In Living Color? You know what I'm saying? And he's always had to be the funny guy.
Yeah.
So you telling me a guy has to be the funny guy for 20 to 30 years? That is tiring. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't take a serious role. Everybody wants me to always be funny. Enough is enough. I think I gave y'all the best of me. And if you like thirsting for some Jim Carrey, he has iconic movies you can go and watch and enjoy.
Facts.
He has given us enough. He's well deserved to feel as though he needs to retire, or even just take a passion into something else. Possibly later on, he can come back into directing or even mentoring other up and coming comedians or something.
Yeah.
I think he does. He has so much experience, and I think he can pass that knowledge down to someone.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes our actors do deserve, our actors, rappers, whatever, entertainers deserves the time to be able to retire when they want to retire, but only when you're ready for it. You know what I'm saying? Financially and physically, mentally health wise,
everything.
Like when you're ready to retire. And if you truly are a fan, you would go back and watch stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Out of Time music video, Jim Carrey has stayed true to his retirement. But whatever happened to Toby Maguire? As summarized well by this comment, I don't care what other movies this guy plays in, he will always be Spider-Man to me, and while this is true for most Toby Maguire fans, he isn't really typecast in the same way as McLovin or Stifler. He found success playing fairly unique roles in other films such as The Great Gatsby, yet since 2014, almost 10 years ago, he appeared in no more than 3 films and 1 episode of a TV show. Why? He's not a romantic lead, he's not an action star, he's not a comedic actor, he's not a Shakespearean. His boyish good looks were appealing in his 20s and 30s, but not when he's in his early 40s. Basically, Toby Maguire has a limited range as an actor, and there aren't many roles for him within that range. Besides being fairly limited in terms of what roles he can play, Toby Maguire has also found himself in numerous media scandals. In 2015, it was reported that Maguire won as much as 30 to 40 million from illegal poker games over the course of 3 years, with most of this money having come from a hedge fund manager who's now serving 10 years in prison himself for running an illegal Ponzi scheme. The poker games were organized by a woman named Molly Bloom, who wrote in her memoir that Maguire asked her to bark like a seal who wants a fish in order to earn a $1,000 poker chip. The poker game organizer added that she tried to laugh it off. However, the actor persisted and said, "I'm not kidding, what's wrong? You're too rich now, you won't bark for $1,000? On top of this scandal, there are YouTube compilations dedicated solely to Toby Maguire getting angry at paparazzi, although the main reason behind why he's disappeared from Hollywood is because he's busy making movies as opposed to acting in them. Despite having acted in only 4 productions since 2014, he's been the producer for 8 movies during the same time period, which is significantly more prolific than
But I can see, because people saying that his image in the beginning, they say his image, but I can see him playing in movies like Netflix series shows,
stuff like that.
Yeah, I could see him like being a dad. What's the one, Working Moms? If he was one of those husbands in Working Moms, like one of their husbands, I could see him playing a role like that. Maybe the role, just something where he doesn't have to be the lead character. And he can be like more of a supporting actor. That he doesn't have to demand screen time, and he doesn't have to demand where a lot of people have to see him, and he just add to the show instead of being. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get.
Working Mom or Good Girls, like being her husband or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, you get what I mean? Like it shows like that. You don't agree though?
I'm just trying to put him there.
Picture him there. To help mature his image is what I mean. I can.
Because both of those shows not very like.
I'm saying the male roles in those movies, not the female. It's both shows are female driven. I'm saying the male role as a supporting cast. You're not there. You're not the center of attention. You're just there.
I got you.
Taylor Lautner, who was blacklisted by Hollywood for a much more brutal reason. Taylor Lautner became an overnight sensation at the age of 16 after starring in the incredibly famous series Twilight, with his attractive physical appearance helping him to land the role and maintain an audience of dedicated teenage fangirls. Almost every Taylor Lautner interview focused on his body.
So everybody's talking about the scene where you drop your pants. How was that?
With the whole Team Jacob vs. Team Edward fiasco helping Taylor Lautner to earn an estimated $40 million from the franchise. He was so famous that for 10 whole years, he didn't go to a grocery store, movie theater, or a mall, although over time this insane level of fame began to fade. The 4 movies he starred in after Twilight each failed to crack 6 stars on IMDb, the worst of which being described as a 4th-rate Hollywood thriller that bundles a lot of thievery from better movies, is entirely bereft of suspense or excitement, and features a leading man who absolutely positively cannot act. And by 2016, Taylor Lautner had stopped exercising altogether, leading him to lose the body that had made him so famous in the first place.
And, you know, what happens when you don't want to see a gym is you start losing the 8-pack. Seeing it online was very tough. And being like, wow, he's let it all go. I was like, oh man, did I really let it all go?
It'd be unfair to call Taylor Lautner's Twilight success lucky, as he definitely had to put in a lot of work prior to landing the role, but it did seem like he'd caught the right wave at the right time. The movie demanded a fit guy in his late teens, which Taylor Lautner suited perfectly at the time. However, this on its own was insufficient to ensure any long-term success. But while every person we've discussed so far has continued to land small roles here and there, it's time to talk about Cameron Diaz, who hasn't been cast in a single movie since 2014. She found massive success with movies such as Shrek, Charlie's Angels, and There's Something About Mary, holding the title of the highest paid actress over the age of 40, while appearing in multiple films every year up until her disappearance. So what happened? Well, unlike most of the others we've covered in this video, Cameron Diaz's vanishing from Hollywood instead came from her end.
I knew it. I said it had to, because she always, I'm like, it has to do something with her image, because she always played the attractive girl. Yeah. And every movie, film, whatever role she played, she always was the attractive blonde haired chick. Cameron, and I'm like, her image had to take a hit. Mm-hmm. Her, like, the way she looked had to take a hit. And I'm like, that's gonna be the only way. Yeah. Or, because I was like, either age or drugs. Mm-hmm. Either she got older and started showing her age, and folks were like, oh, you ain't the Cameron Diaz we grew up with. Or the drugs, and like, you ain't the Cameron Diaz we grew up with.
Or a combination of both.
But I forgot to pause on the other dude. The Twilight dude, I do feel like that was, who else out of Twilight had like really been able to continue to be successful? Because I say this, I haven't watched Twilight. Mm-hmm. Twilight was my thing. When my mom was the girls, and I was like, all right, cool. They raved about it. I was like, all right, I ain't finna see it. I guess it ain't a movie for me. You know, you know what I'm saying? But did the girl ever continue her success? The leading girl?
I think so. That's the thing. Like, I don't.
You have to look into it.
Yeah, I have to look into it. I don't follow people like that. Like, I love Twilight, but I don't be following people's careers outside of, you know. Yeah.
What about the other guy? The one?
I have no clue.
Because he was the vampire, because he was pale. Mm-hmm. And then the other dude was the werewolf. Mm-hmm. See, I know that part. I know the base. That was
the Edward and Jacob.
Yeah, I know the base.
Team Edward.
But other than that, I don't know nothing else. Sad, I know.
Year up until her disappearance. So what happened? Well, unlike most of the others we've covered in this video, Cameron Diaz's vanishing from Hollywood instead came from her end. She'd explained in an interview with Kevin Hart that as someone who performed at the top level of her field, she needed to spend every waking hour focusing on the craft, and she was tired of living such a singular focused life. Cameron Diaz has instead had a baby, written 2 self-help books, and launched a wine brand called Aveline, which seems to be much more than what Sacha Baron Cohen
Right.
Liquor gonna always be there.
And that's the
always
thing.
a motherfucker who trying to get drunk.
And that's the thing, like looking into things, people feel like, oh, you done fell off or whatever because you're not doing what we know you to be doing.
Yeah,
but I'm out here getting the bag another way. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to stay in this box of just acting. I can do other things.
And that's what we talked about yesterday when we was referencing individual, and we was like, people fail to realize you do what you need to do to maybe enter the room that you want to get into.
Right. For some people, it's just like a gateway to get in the door. Like I need to just get my foot in the door, get my,
I need to get in the room somewhere,
so that I can actually get to where I'm trying to go.
Pursue my actual true dreams and passions. But you just gotta gain access.
Not saying that that's this. I'm just saying.
Yeah, or through your fame and your popularity, you're able to access doors to things that you might not know. That's actually into that.
Right.
So use what you can.
Up to. After Borat grossed over $250 million back in 2006, Sacha Baron Cohen saw a steady decline in the performance of every film afterwards. The Dictator did $180 million, Bruno did $140 million, yet by 2016, Grimsby did only $28 million on a budget of $35 million, meaning the film lost $7 million, whilst prompting reviews such as Baron Cohen is a one-trick pony and his shtick has worn thin. In 2016, he stated that Hollywood would be too scared to make Borat today, explaining that the incredibly crude humor which made the movie so successful was better suited to when the film was first released. The kind of stuff he pulled off in Borat is much harder to do in this YouTube/iPhone age, as Cohen himself admitted while doing press for this one. The same kind of problem can also be applied to Bruno in The Dictator, but it's the risky comedy in these films that makes them so entertaining to watch. On top of being more limited in terms of what jokes he can make, Sacha Baron Cohen has also been limited by lawsuits. He stated in a 2012 interview that he could no longer make movies like Borat and Bruno, as the movies I did up till now they involved real people. At the moment, I think I have the Guinness World Record for the most sued actor in history, with Borat accounting for at least 7 of these lawsuits. Despite this, Sacha Baron Cohen did release Borat 2 in October 2020, which was purchased by Amazon for $80 million. So while it's clear that he is still finding success with these roles, it'll be interesting to observe the performance of his next original film.
And if I could be honest, I never watched a film of his. I know about all the films he had, but I never actually watched a film.
I don't think I have either.
I just
I know him, I know his face, but I don't think I've.
And I know the two movies, his 2 most popular movies, but I just never watched them. I can't tell you why. I just never did.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like personally, people gotta also realize everything ain't for everybody. And I don't
know if it's not for me because I haven't watched it, but I just haven't.
I say this: not everybody not drawn into the same thing everybody else is drawn to. You get what I'm saying? Because I think this internet, like a lot of times with the internet age, people feel as though everybody has to be watching the same thing, or everybody
to just be on the same wave, just doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same shit. Like the internet thing is kind of like high school. Like, you ain't cool if you ain't watching this. You ain't cool if you ain't fitting in with the cool kids table. So, you know what I'm saying? The internet's the
Not
cool
saying
kids.
that I would never watch one of his.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
I have never, at this moment, I have never watched one.
And obviously, $80 million, hell, that's still a check.
What you said.
So,
you can't
hate on him, man.
A win is a win.
But, hey, man, I knew Jim Carrey. I doubt he would, like... I think Stifler can make a comeback, which I keep saying Stifler, this dude. But the guy, I think he can make a comeback. I think he just has to find the right role. That's a mature role. Honestly, all of them have found success in some shape, form, or fashion.
Right.
Still, except for, I don't think he's doing too much acting. The one I said, he's not doing too much in acting because he can't find the right role, but I think he would be. I think everybody at the end of the day will end up finding where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah.
So, hey, the career's not over though.
No.
But make sure y'all spam us up. Y'all let us know y'all thoughts and opinions about it in the comment section down below. But as always, y'all know how it go, man. I do go by the name of DJ Kid. This is
Gotta go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Gotta stack a flip for my folks. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners.